What is a GWC? In the photography world, a GWC is labeled as a guy or a girl with a camera. Most often, you're going to hear it stated as a guy with a camera, but I felt like I should be diplomatic about it. Have as of yet for anybody to tell me a girl with a camera story. So if you have one, please leave one in the comments. Shoot me an email, inbox me. I don't care. I would love to hear it. Because the only thing that I ever end up hearing about is guys with cameras. This industry standard is what you hear all the time. Now, let me back into this just a little bit. To me, a guy with a camera is predatory, not an amateur photographer, because so often it's hard to know what the difference is. An amateur photographer is just trying to figure it out. They don't necessarily know the etiquette yet. They may not know how to work with a model yet. It depends on what they're learning and what they want to shoot. Are they shooting weddings? Are they shooting families? Are they shooting nudity? Are they shooting fetish? Whatever it is. Depending on what it is that they're shooting, depends on the environment that they're in. I know a lot of times I end up in environments where there's almost no clothing involved. So you have to be careful with your choice of words. You have to be careful that you're not touching people inappropriately. Some models I've worked with so often that I know that if I just need to adjust something real quick, I'm still going to tell them that I'm coming in, but I know they don't care. If it's somebody that I haven't worked with before, like I remember working with Cassie, and she had like nails on, and I think they were like fake like glue-on nails just for the shoot, and her thigh high was rolling down. I'm like, can I fix that? And she's like, yes, please. It's about setting boundaries. When you deal with somebody that's usually referred to as a guy or girl with a camera, their intentions are not pure. Their intentions are typically solely about themselves and what they showed up to get from that day. Whether it's content that, it's gonna be a little spicy for them later, whether they're selling that content, or whether what they're really trying to do is get close to men and women. I think the thing that I have literally heard the most, I met this person at a group event. They were great. And then they booked me privately. And as soon as they got booked privately, they were made to feel extremely uncomfortable. Whether that's touched inappropriately, somebody trying to force drugs or alcohol into the situation. I even had a model tell me, one of the things that they dislike the most is they have boundaries up front. I don't want this part of my body shot in a certain way or this part of my body shot in a certain way. To them, it starts with a P, it ends with an N or a C, depending on how you want the short version or the long version. What ended up happening, and this happened to her several times, she would get photos back and they're like, hey, I took this picture anyway, I thought you would like it. And she didn't like it because it was exactly what she asked not to have shot, but they shot it because they wanted it. I've actually had a couple of times where I might be shooting a milk bath and somebody goes to readjust and I go, oh, that was a lot more than anticipated. Some people don't care. If they do care, I go, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and delete those. It sounds like a little much, and it probably I don't have to. I know what it's like to be an uncomfortable female in a situation with someone where your boundaries are being pushed, but you go, it's okay. You laugh it off because you want out of the uncomfortable situation. And you preferably want out of it without any angst. The other thing that happens, and this would be a tip for models, make sure you get paid, or you get paid at least half of what you're getting paid for the day. I've talked to some models where even though they were in the situation, they allowed the situation, they got through the situation because they wanted to get paid, because they didn't either ask for the money up front or they didn't ask for a deposit up front so that they could walk away from it once they were uncomfortable. What's uncomfortable to one person could be comfortable to another. It's all about perspective and perception of the situation. So if you don't have to say it, don't say it. If you don't have to touch them, don't touch them. That's the best advice I can give you. To me, a GWC is just a predatory person. They knew what they showed up for. You didn't. Another story that I have, and it's from one of my favorite models, she inboxed me. She's like, hey, do you have a minute? She's like, I want to run something past you. She said, I had a shoot scheduled. It was going to be a motel shoot instead of a studio shoot because it was going to be fetish based. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, okay, well, what happened? She said, well, we were supposed to shoot tomorrow. And she's like, I told him today that my boyfriend was coming with me, and he had an absolute fit. Like, he said that was unacceptable. That wasn't okay. And, how dare I? It's unprofessional. I said, no, girl. I said, what you did was you dodged a bullet. There should be absolutely no reason your significant other or anyone cannot go with you to a photo shoot. Unless it's a capacity thing and you're at a large event, there should be absolutely no reason that you cannot have a companion or somebody go with you. In that situation, as soon as that happened, I would have shut it down, because what that means is that there was some expectation that he had from the day or from the shoot time that was probably beyond just actually having photos. That person, the boyfriend, now becomes a liability or an issue for whatever it was that they wanted from the actual shoot. Models, just trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel okay. And sometimes, again, that perception and that perspective, it's different for everyone. And, you have to decide what your boundaries are and you have to stick to them. Don't let other people push you through them. Don't be a GWC. Thanks for watching.